when WWE has gold sitting right in front of them and they choose to throw it in the garbage. And that's exactly what's happening right now with multiple superstars who deserve so much better than the treatment they are getting. We're talking about careers being destroyed, potential being wasted, and storylines so stupid that you have to wonder if anyone in creative is actually watching their own show. I'm about to expose some things that are going to make you furious, and honestly, if you're not angry by the end of this video, then you haven't been paying attention to what WWE is doing to some of your favorite wrestlers. Because what I'm about to break down isn't just bad booking, it's career assassination, and the fact that WWE keeps getting away with it is absolutely insane. But before we dive into this absolute dumpster fire of creative decisions, I need you to do something for me right now. If you've ever been frustrated with how WWE books their talent, if you've ever watched a wrestler get buried for no reason, or if you're just tired of seeing the same mistakes over and over again, smash that like button and let me know in the comments which WWE superstar you think is getting the worst treatment right now. Trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to have strong opinions. Let's start with the situation that has me seeing red right now, Austin Theory and this absolutely baffling partnership with Seth Rollins. Now, I want you to think back to just 2 years ago. Austin Theory was being positioned as the future of WWE. Vince McMahon himself was personally invested in this kid's career. Theory was getting selfies with the boss, he was in high-profile matches, he won the United States Championship, he won Money in the Bank, and he was being fast-tracked to the main event scene. Fast forward to today, and what is Austin Theory doing? He's playing second fiddle to Seth Rollins in a tag team that absolutely nobody asked for. And here's what makes this so incredibly frustrating. Theory doesn't need Seth Rollins to get over. Theory doesn't need to be carried by an established star. Theory needs to be built as a threat, as someone who can stand on his own 2 feet and dominate the competition. But instead, WWE has him standing in Seth's shadow, taking orders, and basically serving as comic relief in segments that should be elevating him as a singles competitor. It's like they completely forgot that this guy is supposed to be a future world champion, not Seth Rollins' sidekick. And the worst part? Theory is so talented that he's making this garbage booking work, which means WWE has even less incentive to give him something better. Let me ask you this, and I want you to comment your honest answer. Do you think Austin Theory's career has been permanently damaged by poor booking, or can he still recover and become a main event player? Drop your thoughts below because this is a conversation we need to have. Here's what really grinds my gears about the Theory situation. This kid has everything you could possibly want in a WWE superstar. He's got the look, he's got the athleticism, he's got charisma, he can work a microphone, he can go in the ring, and he's only 27 years old. Do you understand how rare it is to find someone with that complete package at that age? And WWE is squandering it. Think about what they should be doing with Austin Theory right now. He should be in the Intercontinental Championship picture, having barn burner matches with the best workers on the roster. He should be cutting promos about how he was promised greatness and he's going to take it by force. He should be building momentum toward an eventual world title run. Instead, he's, what? Seth's buddy, Seth's tag team partner, Seth's backup dancer, and don't even get me started on how this affects his character development. Remember when Theory was this cocky, self-absorbed, social media-obsessed heel who thought he was God's gift to wrestling? That character had layers. It was annoying in all the right ways. It made you want to see him get his comeuppance. But now he's just there. He exists. He shows up on TV and does whatever the script tells him to do with no real personality or motivation driving his actions. The Seth Rollins partnership isn't even making sense from a storyline perspective. What brought these two together? What's their common goal? What's their dynamic supposed to be? Are they friends? Are they allies of convenience? Is Seth mentoring Theory? Is Theory using Seth? Nobody knows because WWE hasn't bothered to explain it in any meaningful way. They just put these two together and expected us to go along with it. And you know what the really infuriating part is? Seth Rollins doesn't need a tag team partner. Seth is one of the most over wrestlers in the entire company. He can carry feuds by himself. He can main event pay-per-views by himself. Pairing him with Theory doesn't help Seth at all, and it actively hurts Theory by making him dependent on someone else for relevance. Quick question for the comments: if you were booking Austin Theory right now, what would you do with him? Would you turn him face? Keep him heel? Put him in a different feud? Let me know your fantasy booking ideas. Now let's talk about something that's been making the wrestling world collectively scratch their heads, these two mystery men who keep showing up and attacking people backstage. And before you say anything, yes, I know that mystery attackers are a tried and true wrestling trope. But here's the problem: WWE has done this so many times in recent years that nobody cares anymore. We've all seen this before, and we all know exactly how it's going to play out. Let me predict the future for you right now. These mystery men are going to attack people for several more weeks. WWE is going to drag out the "who are they?" question for way too long. When they are finally unmasked, it's going to be either a 2 former WWE wrestlers coming back for another run, B 2 NXT call-ups that main roster fans don't know or care about, or C 2 random independent wrestlers that WWE just signed. And in any of those scenarios, the reveal is going to be underwhelming because WWE waited too long and killed all the momentum. You want to know why this mystery attacker angle is so frustrating? Because it's lazy storytelling. Instead of building new stars through compelling characters and interesting storylines, WWE just throws masked men at us and hopes we'll stay interested long enough to find out who they are. It's the wrestling equivalent of dangling keys in front of a baby. Ooh, shiny mystery. Pay attention to our show. And here's what makes it even worse: while WWE is wasting our time with these mystery attackers, they are taking TV time away from wrestlers who actually need it. How many talented performers are sitting in catering right now, desperate for any kind of storyline, while we're watching two guys in masks run around backstage? How many potential feuds are being ignored so WWE can drag out this mystery that nobody actually cares about? Let me give you a perfect example of how this should be done. Remember when Sting showed up in AEW? That was a legitimate surprise that got people talking. Remember when The Shield debuted by attacking Ryback? That was shocking and memorable. Those moments worked because they were organic, they served a purpose, and they didn't drag on 4 months before the payoff. But these current mystery men? They are attacking people seemingly at random with no clear motivation or target. They are not aligned with any existing faction or storyline. They are just there, causing chaos for the sake of causing chaos. And the worst part is, WWE expects us to be invested in finding out who they are when they haven't given us any reason to care. Comment below, who do you think these mystery attackers are, and more importantly, do you even care about finding out? I'm genuinely curious if anyone is actually invested in this storyline. Here's my prediction, and you can hold me to this: when these mystery men are finally revealed, it's going to be a massive letdown. The internet wrestling community is going to collectively shrug their shoulders and say, "That's it? That's who we've been waiting weeks to see?" And WWE is going to act confused about why nobody's excited, even though they've played this exact same game multiple times and gotten the same disappointing results every single time. You know what WWE should do with mystery attackers? Make the reveal happen quickly. Don't drag it out 4 months. Have them unmask after 2 or 3 weeks, establish who they are and what they want, and then build an actual feud around it. But no, WWE would rather string us along with this mystery box nonsense because they think it's compelling television when really it's just frustrating and boring. Now let's move on to something that's been genuinely disturbing to watch unfold: the Liv Morgan Stalker storyline. And I need to be very careful with how I address this because there are some serious real-world implications we need to discuss here. But first, let me just say this: what is WWE thinking? Stalking is not entertainment. Stalking is a serious crime that affects real people's lives every single day. It's terrifying for the victims, it can escalate to violence, and it's absolutely not something that should be treated as a cute storyline on a wrestling show. And yet, here we are, watching WWE book Liv Morgan in a storyline where she's being stalked by a mysterious person, and we're supposed to, what? Be intrigued? Be entertained? Be excited to see where this goes? Let me be absolutely clear about something: I have zero problem with wrestling storylines that address serious issues if they are handled with sensitivity and respect. Wrestling has tackled difficult subjects before and done it well, but this Stalker storyline? It's not being handled with care. It's being treated like just another wacky wrestling angle, and that's deeply problematic. Think about the message this sends to actual stalking victims who might be watching. Think about how trivializing this serious crime for entertainment purposes affects people who have lived through the genuine terror of being stalked. It's not okay, and the fact that WWE greenlit this storyline in 2025 shows a stunning lack of awareness about the real-world implications of what they are portraying. Question for the comments, and I want you to be honest: do you think WWE has gone too far with this Stalker storyline, or am I overreacting? Let me know your thoughts because this is an important conversation to have. But let's talk about this from a purely booking perspective for a moment, setting aside the ethical concerns. Even if we pretend that stalking is an acceptable thing to build a storyline around, the execution has been terrible. Who is the stalker? What do they want? Why are they targeting Liv specifically? What's the endgame here? WWE hasn't answered any of these questions in a satisfying way. It's been weeks of Liv looking scared, mysterious footage of someone watching her, and ominous music playing while absolutely nothing substantive happens. It's mystery box booking at its absolute worst, where WWE is stringing viewers along without actually building toward anything concrete. And when the stalker is finally revealed, you know it's going to be either A. someone we already knew was involved, making the mystery pointless, or B. someone random who makes no sense as the stalker, making the entire storyline feel stupid in retrospect. And here's what really frustrates me about this whole thing: Liv Morgan doesn't need this garbage storyline. Liv is one of the most over women in WWE right now. Fans love her. She's been killing it in the ring, she's been great on the microphone, and she's proven she can carry feuds without resorting to shock value nonsense. So why is WWE putting her in this uncomfortable, poorly executed, ethically questionable angle instead of just letting her wrestle and be the star that she clearly is? The answer, unfortunately, is that WWE thinks this kind of controversial content gets people talking. They think that if they do something shocking or uncomfortable, it'll generate buzz on social media and get people tuning in to see what happens next. And you know what? Sometimes they are right. Sometimes controversy does drive viewership, but at what cost? Is it worth alienating viewers who are uncomfortable with stalking being treated as entertainment? Is it worth the negative press and criticism from people pointing out how irresponsible this storyline is? I don't think so. I think WWE should be better than this. I think they should trust their performers to get over based on their talent, not based on controversial storylines that cross ethical lines. And I think Liv Morgan deserves so much better than being stuck in this mess. Now, let's talk about something that's going to make a lot of you absolutely furious: the systematic burial of LA Knight. And yes, I'm using the word burial very deliberately here because that's exactly what WWE is doing to one of the most over babyfaces they've had in years. Do you remember how nuclear LA Knight was just a few months ago? Do you remember how the crowd would go absolutely insane every single time his music hit? Do you remember how he was getting reactions that WWE hasn't seen since the peak of Daniel Bryan or Centimeter Punk? The fans were desperate to see LA Knight succeed, and WWE had lightning in a bottle with this guy. So naturally, WWE decided to completely kill his momentum by booking him like a complete loser. Let's run through the list of ways WWE has sabotaged LA Knight's career, shall we? They had him lose clean to Logan Paul multiple times. They kept him out of the world title picture despite fan demand. They stuck him in random matches with no storyline significance. They gave him scripted promos that sounded nothing like the authentic character that got him over in the first place. And now he's barely on television at all. Quick question: what was the exact moment you realized WWE was intentionally cooling off LA Knight? Drop a comment with the specific match or segment where you knew they were burying him. This is textbook WWE self-sabotage, and we've seen it happen so many times before. Zack Ryder got himself over organically, and WWE buried him. Damien Sandow got himself over organically, and WWE buried him. Rusev got himself over organically, and WWE buried him. And now LA Knight is getting the exact same treatment, and it's infuriating to watch in real time. You want to know what the real problem is? WWE doesn't like it when wrestlers get themselves over without following the company's predetermined plan. They want to control everything, including which wrestlers become stars and which ones stay in the mid-card. So when someone like LA Knight breaks through based purely on their own charisma and connection with the audience, WWE feels threatened by it. They can't stand the idea that someone succeeded without their blessing. And the excuse they always give is the same: we're waiting for the right moment. We're building to something big. We don't want to rush it. But those excuses are garbage. The right moment was months ago when LA Knight was the hottest act in the entire company. The crowd was ready, the momentum was there, and all WWE had to do was pull the trigger and give the fans what they wanted. But no. Instead, WWE waited and waited and waited until the momentum died down. They cooled off LA Knight so effectively that now, even when he does appear on TV, the reactions aren't what they used to be. The fans got trained that their support doesn't matter, that cheering for someone doesn't mean WWE will actually push them, so why bother getting invested? This is the same pattern we've seen over and over again, and it's absolutely maddening. WWE creates its own problems by refusing to listen to what the fans want. They have this arrogant attitude that they know better than the audience, that they can dictate who gets over and who doesn't, and every single time, they prove themselves wrong by killing the momentum of organic fan favorites. Let me paint you a picture of what LA Knight's booking should look like. He should be in the main event scene, period. He should be challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship. He should be cutting those incredible promos that made everyone fall in love with his character in the first place. He should be positioned as a top guy who can carry SmackDown or Raw as a featured performer. Instead, he's lost in the shuffle, appearing sporadically with no clear direction or purpose. And here's what makes this even more frustrating: WWE doesn't have an overabundance of babyfaces right now. They need stars like LA Knight. They need people who can get genuine crowd reactions and move merchandise and sell tickets. But instead of capitalizing on what they have, they are actively sabotaging it. It's like they want to fail. I need you to sound off in the comments: is LA Knight's career already beyond saving, or can WWE still recover this if they book him correctly? Give me your honest assessment. The LA Knight situation is particularly painful because we've seen him succeed at every level before WWE got involved. In Impact Wrestling, he was a star. On the independent scene, he was one of the hottest free agents in wrestling. In NXT, he was one of the most compelling characters they had. This guy has proven over and over again that he has what it takes to be successful. The only time he fails is when WWE main roster creative gets their hands on him and ruins everything. And you know what the absolute worst part is? LA Knight is getting older. He's 38 years old. He doesn't have unlimited time to wait around for WWE to decide they want to push him. Every month that goes by with him treading water in the mid-card is a month of his prime being wasted. This should be his time to shine, his opportunity to become a main event star, and WWE is pissing it away for no good reason. I've talked to so many wrestling fans who have completely given up hope that WWE will do right by LA Knight. They've accepted that he's going to be stuck in mid-card purgatory forever, and that breaks my heart because this guy deserves so much better. He worked 4 years to get to WWE, he got himself over despite creative not helping him, and his reward is getting buried and forgotten about. This is why fans get frustrated with WWE. This is why people complain about the booking. It's not that we're impossible to please or that we don't understand the business. It's that we watch WWE make the same stupid mistakes over and over again, killing the momentum of talented performers who could be stars if the company would just get out of their own way. Now let's shift gears and talk about some of the recent news coming out of WWE, because there have been some interesting developments that could affect everything we've been discussing. First off, there are reports that WWE is planning another round of NXT call-ups in the coming months, which means the main roster is about to get even more crowded with talent that creative has no idea what to do with. Here's the problem with constant NXT call-ups: WWE already can't book the people they have effectively. We just spent the last 20 minutes talking about Austin Theory, LA Knight, and multiple other wrestlers who are being misused or underutilized. Adding more people to that mix isn't going to solve anything. It's just going to create more frustration when talented NXT wrestlers get called up and immediately have nothing to do. Think about recent NXT call-ups and how they've been handled. Karrion Kross was a dominant NXT champion who got called up and immediately made to look like a joke. Keith Lee was one of the most over acts in NXT and got completely lost in the shuffle on the main roster. Tommaso Ciampa, one of the best workers in the company, has been bouncing around with no clear direction. The pattern is clear: WWE does not know how to transition NXT talent to the main roster successfully. Comment below, which current NXT wrestler are you most worried about getting called up and immediately ruined by main roster booking? I want to hear your concerns. There's also been news about potential creative changes behind the scenes, with rumors that WWE is looking to shake up the writing team. And honestly, good. The creative team needs a massive overhaul because what they are doing right now isn't working. But here's my concern: WWE has made promises about creative changes before, and things rarely get substantially better. They shuffle some positions around, make some announcements about new directions, and then 6 months later we're right back where we started. What WWE really needs is a fundamental shift in philosophy. They need to start listening to crowd reactions instead of stubbornly pushing their predetermined plans. They need to give wrestlers more freedom to develop their characters organically instead of micromanaging every single word they say. They need to book long-term storylines that actually build to satisfying payoffs instead of constantly changing directions based on whatever Vince or now whoever's in charge feels like doing that particular week. Speaking of long-term booking, there's been a lot of speculation about WrestleMania plans, and some of the rumored matches have me worried. It sounds like WWE is already planning to give premium WrestleMania spots to part-time stars and celebrity attractions instead of the full-time roster members who have been carrying the company all year. And while I understand that WrestleMania is WWE's biggest show and they want to make it as mainstream appealing as possible, it's incredibly frustrating for fans who have been invested in these weekly storylines all year long. This is another area where WWE constantly shoots themselves in the foot. They spend months building up their full-time talent, getting fans invested in their stories and their journeys, and then when it's time for the biggest show of the year, they sideline those people in favor of part-timers who show up for one match and then disappear again. It sends the message that the weekly product doesn't really matter, that being a loyal fan who watches every week doesn't matter, because the real stars only show up a few times a year. Final question for the comments: if you could book one match at WrestleMania that would make the WWE Universe happy, what would it be? Give me your dream WrestleMania match. Look, I know this video has been heavy on the criticism, and maybe some of you think I'm being too harsh on WWE. But here's the thing, I criticize because I care. I want WWE to be the best wrestling company in the world. I want their shows to be must-see television. I want their wrestlers to be successful and happy in their careers. And right now, so many things are going wrong that could easily be fixed if WWE would just listen to feedback and make some common sense changes. Austin Theory should be a main event star in the making, not Seth Rollins' sidekick. The mystery attacker storyline should be resolved quickly and lead somewhere meaningful instead of being dragged out forever. Liv Morgan shouldn't be stuck in an uncomfortable stalker angle that trivializes a serious crime. LA Knight should be in the world title picture based on how over he is with the audience. And WWE's creative team needs to start valuing long-term storytelling and character development over short-term shock value. These aren't unreasonable requests. These are basic fundamentals of good wrestling booking that WWE used to understand but seems to have forgotten. And until they remember these fundamentals and start applying them consistently, we're going to keep having these same conversations about wasted potential and misused talent. So here's what I want you to do. First, drop a comment below telling me which of these issues frustrates you the most. Is it the Austin Theory situation, the mystery attackers, the Liv Morgan Stalker storyline, LA Knight's burial? Let me know where you stand. Second, share this video with other frustrated WWE fans who need to know they are not alone in feeling this way. And third, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss when I break down the latest WWE news and controversies. Because trust me, as long as WWE keeps making these baffling creative decisions, we're going to have plenty to talk about. This company has more talent on its roster than any other wrestling promotion in the world, and they should be putting on the best wrestling shows every single week. The fact that they are not doing that, the fact that they keep making the same mistakes over and over again, is something we need to keep calling out until things actually change. The wrestling business is supposed to be about creating stars, telling compelling stories, and giving fans moments they'll never forget. Right now, WWE is failing on all three of those counts for too many wrestlers. And until that changes, videos like this one are going to keep getting made, and fans like you and me are going to keep demanding better. Thanks for watching, and remember, the only way WWE will actually change is if we keep holding them accountable. So keep voicing your opinions, keep supporting the wrestlers who deserve better, and never stop demanding the quality wrestling product we all know WWE is capable of delivering.